actual riding part. Woo!
Oh.
Your time to shine, Laura.
Just keep in mind, I'm learning just like you guys.
You're gonna do great. So,
I'm a guinea pig.
we all know our test, right? So it's day of the show. Laura's gonna rock it out. We know our test. What is it that we've been practicing at home? What is our homework? Yeah? Like what?
Straightness, balance, turn.
Yep, straightness, balance, turns, right? Do we know our geometry? Can we keep a steady tempo? Okay. So when we come for our day of the show and we're warming up, what kind of warm-up do you think? Do you think we need to run through our dressage test during our warm-up? No. Okay. What do we need to focus on when we're warming up?
The homework.
Yeah. Okay. So your warm-up. Okay. Write this in a different color. Your warm-up needs to be that is your horse responsive? Okay, what do you think that word means in terms of your warm-up?
Like listening, like your head.
Yeah, listening. Is he going? Is he slowing down? Is he turning when you ask him to turn? Okay. The other thing you need to think about is the quality of your movement. Okay, what do you think I mean by that?
Like, is he like moving well?
Is he moving well, right? Do you have the tempo when you come down center line that you want out there? Okay, in your warm-up. What do you think you guys are going to be feeling during your warm-up?
Nervous?
Nervous? What else?
Excited?
Excited? What if it's like super rainy out? Are you guys going to be worried about slipping or getting wet? Or, you know, there's a lot of different factors that can change from your warm-up to your dressage test, okay? And a lot of times we have a super warm-up and we come down center line and lose it, okay? So instead of thinking I'm at a show and I need to ride perfectly, we need to think to not leave our dressage test in the warm-up. When you're in the warm-up, imagine yourself having this super trot and just going down center line, ready for your halt or ready for whatever is next, okay? Don't think about, oh my gosh, the judge is already gonna start judging and I need to be, you know, slow it down, right? You're here to be successful, okay? And you need to really work to bring out your own success in the warm-up over there, okay? So when we're warming up, Laura, you've already walked, trot, and cantered a bit. What are you feeling this morning in terms of him? Like if you were like day of the show.
Well, with him, he always needs a little extra time. I mean, he's been out all night, so I didn't have to walk him as long. But he usually starts out stiff. And I don't like to just get right into him. I like to let him warm up. I just talk to him a little bit. We trot, let him stretch out over his top line before we go into more working warm-up.
Okay. So let's see a little bit of your warm-up that you've got now that he's pretty warmed up.
You tell me what you want to do.
Just whatever. Day of show.
Well, I like to do a lot of serpentines and circles because what I noticed on the few dressage tests I've done in a show, they want you to be supple as you can, not stiff in your body. So the circles help. And probably during a warm-up, I do a lot of transitions from trot to canter to walk.
So what do you think those So what do you think those transitions help with?
Responsiveness.
Yeah, those are responsiveness. And what do you think a lot of change in direction help with?
Make sure he's listening.
Yeah, the responsiveness, but also quality of the movement. Do you have the same trot on both sides, right? When she goes into the transition, does she have a quality transition? Okay. So here, Laura has already done her homework. She knows how big a 20-meter circle is. Okay. So when she's at a show, she's not just going to go into the warm-up and practice a 20-meter circle. She's going to focus more on the responsiveness and the quality of movements. Okay. So this is where day of, do you have the proper homework that you've been working on at home? Does that make sense, ladies? Yeah? Okay. So the day of a show is not the day to be training, right? It's to come out and to show what homework that you have. Okay? Good.
The other thing is, I sit a lot in my warm-up, but in interesting, you have to post. Training level, you can do whatever's more comfortable for you, but sometimes he warms up better if I'm sitting because I go a little slower and then I go to work and trot. Now, Bo, got to trot. Heavy and post.
All right. Now, so when Laura gets ready to go in, she's gonna, you have your time, right, that you've got to perform your test at. They give that to you whenever you sign up for the show. And your judge is sitting at C, okay? So when it's your time, the judge will either ring a bell, honk their horn, something, okay? How many seconds do you have to get into your dressage arena?
45.
Do you guys hear that? 45 seconds, okay? So you have 45 seconds after the bell, okay? Now, when they ring, before they ring that bell and it's your time, you can do what Laura's doing, which is going around the edge of your arena, okay? The judge may be watching you, but he or she is not judging, okay? So when you're out in this area, that's not the time, again, to leave your test in the warm-up. Keep warming up here. Make sure that he's paying attention. Sometimes they get to a show and they look at the flower boxes or they look at the judges' stand. That's the time to take, okay, we're going to slow down. We're going to do a transition. Are you responsive even though you're nervous? Okay, you and the horse. All right, so it's really, really important. Okay, so we're going to watch Laura. When a judge judges your test, they score on a number scale of 0 to 10. 0 being completely terrible. Typically, you do not end up with a 0 unless you end up outside of the dressage arena, okay? Or 10 being the highest, also rarely given, okay? So when she goes down, what I want you ladies to do, this is where your pen comes in handy. I want you, so we're going to watch the dressage test twice, okay? So split it in half, alrighty? And it cut off, my printer cut off the last two movements at the bottom. So you're not going to grade the last two, but I want you to give her a number as we watch her, okay? And maybe make a quick note, like, do you feel that she's straight? Do you feel that her circle was 20 meters, was a little off? Okay, these are all the things that the judges would be saying to you, alrighty? So, whenever you're ready, Laura, we're ringing the bell. Ring, 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 ring. Entering Laura and Domino, number 60. focus on where she left in her corner and where she ends up in her corner, right? That's going to determine the balance here. E left 20 meters trotting. Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, nervous. So there, because she went down to the walk, in your dressage test, you just fix it and keep moving forward. Okay? You don't. Yeah, maybe they only take off 3 points. So maybe for her left 20 meters, she gets a 4 because she forgot her test. Okay? But again, your adjustments are part of just moving through your dressage test, okay? So ladies, how do you feel about the test overall? Yeah? Okay. Laura, how do you feel?
Oh, I thought everything that I needed to work on. Like, yeah, I mean, forget the fact that my brain went out the window, and that happens, and you just keep going. But I know that, like, the free walk needs to be more forward and straight. We work on this every day now, like warming up, cooling off the free walk, because it's really hard at first.
Yeah.
Especially when you only have a little bit to do.
Yeah.
Too slow in the working walk right there. And just a little stiff to the left sometimes.
So what do you ladies think? So let's start from the beginning of her test. The entrance was pretty nice, right? Pretty decent. What was different between her first trot, walk, halt versus her last? You guys notice? So her first one, she was obviously thinking more about the halt, and her walk was a little sticky, right? She's coming in, she's a little nervous, she's a little conservative, okay? Her last one, she's like, yeah man, let's get this test over. She had a little bit more of a trot, a little bit more of a walk, and had a nicer halt, okay? So those are the things in terms of tempo. That is what the judge would be looking at. Is it the same trot and same walk to halt at the beginning and at the end, okay? Now the next thing is, let's see here, her circle right. She had a pretty decent geometric shape, right? She pretty much was on the correct spray painted line. So her circle at A at the canter, we can see, and this is what the judge is looking at in terms of geometry. Are your hoof prints on the same path? If you notice, this is about a foot off, okay? And so even though this is just an intro test, if you're at a big competition, this foot off could be a difference between first and 9th place. Just a couple points here and there, okay, of being correct, alrighty? Let's see here. The medium walk, again, was a little rushed here, and then a little too slow there, just like she was talking about, okay? What is a dressage test?
off what you've learned and what you've been training for?
Okay. So in a dressage test, do you jump at all? No. No. So it's just flat work, right? So it's your walk, trot, and canter, depending on the test. Some of your intro tests are only walk and trot, right? And then it also shows the halt, and depending on what level you're at, certain lateral movements and different types of gaits, correct? So medium walk, extended walk, stuff like that, okay? So what is being judged in your dressage test? Do you guys know? Any guesses? So let's look. The cool thing about our dressage test is it tells us everything, okay? So if you guys look in the top corner here, okay, it tells you for both your intro and your training level, it tells you exactly what we're working on, and then it also tells us the purpose, okay? Right up here, okay? So when you're preparing for a dressage test, just know the test, okay? And it'll tell you everything. So, let me grab my little whiteboard here. So does somebody on the intro test want to tell me one thing that it judges? What's the first requirement on the list?
Free walk?
Yes. So we've got our free walk.
Medium walk.
Working, trot, rising?
Okay. So when it says working trot, rising, what does that mean?
Normal trot? Just coasting?
What do you guys think the rising means?
Like, sit like up, like,
Yeah, so anytime you see rising, that's another word for posting, okay? So certain dressage tests, as you move up the levels, will say rising or sitting. So again, knowing what you're being judged on, okay? So we've got rising, and then what's the other thing that we've got?
working canter?
A working canter, okay? Now what does the word working mean? Jordan?
Like a good pace, kind of like gait.
A good pace, yeah. So working means nice, forward, your regular moving, okay? You're going somewhere. You're not cantering in place. You're not trotting in place, okay? So if we look at Miss Laura right now, that might be a little bit slower than what a working trot would be considered, okay? To get a little idea. And then, let's see here. What are the last two things on our list?
20 minutes circle.
Okay.
Halt, free walk?
So when we're looking for halt, so when we're looking halt through walk. Now when we're looking at our purpose, if we read our purpose, okay, which is right here on our intro test, okay, and then we read, these are called the directives, okay, so when we're doing our test, we have the letters that we're doing something at, okay, we have what it is that we're doing, so your first one says A, right there, enter working trot rising, okay, so that means just enter at a nice posting trot. What is the directive on the first bubble there?
Straight your time center line and in transitions to trot.
Yeah, so the thing you're looking at is straightness and rhythm, right? So when we go up to our purpose, what is the purpose of our intro test? So I see the word steady tempo, steady hands, balanced seat, and to show proper geometry of figures with correct bends, okay? So when we're looking at what it is that we're doing and the purpose of our test, that's going to give us our homework, okay? And that's also going to give us what we need to work on in the warm-up so we're ready to go into our dressage test prepared, okay? So for today, we're going to look at tempo, okay? We're going to look at steady, balance seat. And then we're also going to look at, what's the last thing I said? What about circles and bends?
Proper.
Yep, correct geometry, right? So basically, when we look at our dressage test and break it down, our requirements, we also see the 20-meter circle, right? And if we go to the purpose, it's correct geometry. And then if we read down our directives, it's saying the same thing over and over, just in different ways, okay? So if we look at number 2, it says balance, bend, and turn. B, 20-meter circle, roundness and size of circle. It's just saying the same thing over and over and over. So whenever you go to look at your dressage test, break it down and make it super easy, okay? So there's only 3 things that we've got to worry about. Tempo, balance seat, correct geometry, okay? So when we're starting out, we want contact, but we don't have to worry about the horse having the correct kind of what quote-unquote frame, right? We're more worried about what is it that we're doing, what is it that the horse is doing, and are we moving in a correct dimension, okay? So when we're trying to get ourselves in the mindset of we're going to go show, or we're going to make straight lines down our center line, or even straight lines over our trot poles or our canter poles, whatever it is, break it down and just make it simple, okay? What can we do to be successful? Today we're going to have Laura show us a tempo, steady balance seat, and correct geometry, okay? Alrighty. So, moving forward from that, let me see here. So, when we look at correct geometry, let's start with our arena size, okay? So this obviously is what size? Our large dressage arena versus our small one, which is up at the covered arena, okay? So our large dressage arena, not perfect, we're gonna say large here. How wide do you think this dressage arena is?
Meters.
How many?
20 meters.
Yep, 20 meters. Okay, so it's 20 meters wide. And how long do you girls think this is? 60 meters, okay? So our large arena is 60 meters. Now when you do your intro test, it's going to be done in a small dressage arena, okay? Which is the give or take our indoor, okay? So our small dressage arena, we're going to say small. How wide do you think it is? 20 meters, okay? And how short do you think the sides are, the long sides? 40, yep. Alrighty, so that's the first thing that we've got to know. What is the size of our dressage arena, okay? So today we're going to be working in the large. So our length of our center line is going to be longer. The trot sides are going to be longer. And our diagonals are going to be longer, okay? But that's really the only thing that changes from here to there for today, okay? The next thing that we've got to go over is how big is a 20-meter circle, okay? So if we look in Laura's intro C test, our first 20-meter circle is at B, okay? So where is B?
Right there.
Right here, okay? So E and B, okay? So what I would like you two to do, start at B here, okay? So come into our dressage arena. Now, we're circling right, okay? So which way are we gonna be circling? Are we gonna go this way, or are we gonna go this way? So when we circle right, we want our right hand to be on the inside of our circle, okay? So we're gonna come, we're gonna enter at A, C, she's gonna track right, so go this way, and at B, she's gonna come down here and do a 20-meter circle, okay? So can you ladies walk what you you think is a 20-meter circle?
Wait, going this way?
Yep, so at B, how big do you think a 20-meter circle is? So you guys walk it individually. You don't have to follow each other, okay? So just, you're not right or wrong. So we're just seeing where we are today and what we know, okay?
Can we go first?
Yeah, if you want to go first. How big do you think 20-meter circle is? All right, Miss Christina, do you want to go ahead and walk your 20-meter circle here? Good. Good job. Okay, so you guys are fairly close. Okay, so look at where your feet prints are. Okay, so that part of our circle got a little lopsided, right? And then this part of our circle got a little lopsided as well, right? Okay, but that's okay.